everybody. Thank you for joining us today for Children's Memorial Flag Day. My name is Mary Carr, and I'm a member of the Children's Memorial Flag Day Committee. I am joined by representatives from the CYAC, CASA, Davis Stewart, Raynell Medical Center, the Greenbrier County Family Resource Network, and the Greenbrier County Family Support Center in our Children's Memorial Flag Day Committee. We're here today to remember children in the community who are no longer with us because of abuse, as well as support children who face abuse each day in their home and community. We would like to first take a moment of silence and welcome a representative from Greenbrier East JROTC to raise the Children's Memorial Flag.
Hello, at this time it is my honor and pleasure to get to introduce to you all the Lewisburg Mayor, Beverly White, to read the proclamation for Children's Memorial Flag Day that she signed into effect earlier this month.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here today. Children's Memorial Flag Day Proclamation. Whereas the Child Welfare League of America has promoted the Children's Memorial Flag as a way of memorializing the thousands of children and teenagers in the United States who die violently each year. And whereas each year numerous municipalities become involved in an impressive bipartisan effort flying the flag or arranging for related events to memorialize children. And whereas the Children's Memorial Flag has become a recognizable symbol of the need to do a better job of protecting children. And whereas the response of the public has been overwhelmingly positive as the program progresses each year. And whereas approximately 7.9 million children are reported abused and neglected in this country each year. And whereas the effects of child abuse are felt by whole communities and need to be addressed by the entire community. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, religious and civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas all citizens should become more aware of the negative effects of child abuse and its prevention within their communities, and become involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Now, therefore, I, Beverly White, Mayor of the City of Lewisburg, do hereby proclaim Friday, April the 28th, 2023, as Children's Memorial Flag Day, and urge all citizens to memorialize the thousands of children across the country who die violently each year. I call upon all citizens to increase their participation in efforts to prevent child abuse, thereby strengthening the communities in which we live.
Thank you, Bev. It's hard not to get choked up listening to those statistics. It's really hard. Children's Memorial Flag Day is part of a public awareness campaign started by the Child Welfare League of America to direct attention to the tragedy of violent child deaths in our country. I would like to draw your attention to the Children's Memorial Flag. The flag has a red field depicting blue paper doll-like figures of children holding hands. In the center, the white chalk outline of a missing child symbolizes the children lost to violence, a very moving representation.
Hi, I'm Heather with the CYAC. In 1989, Bonnie Finney tied a blue ribbon to the antenna of her minivan in order to honor her grandson, Bubba. He was 3 years old and he passed away, weighed down in a toolbox, violently beaten, and tied up at the bottom of a canal in Norfolk, Virginia. And although her efforts did not stop the abuse, her tying that little simple blue ribbon around the antenna of her car, schools, churches, other local organizations, and social service agencies started putting out blue ribbons. And then those blue ribbons started carrying over to other states. And now after 4 decades, it's become an international symbol to recognize child abuse and prevention. On Monday, we came out and we placed 100 pinwheels that are blue. Each pinwheel represents approximately 7 children that Greenbrier County has served. So over 700 children that we've served in the last year. Pinwheels, by their very nature, connote joy, playfulness, and a joyful childhood. Unfortunately, that's not how it always works. As you reflect on the pinwheel today, we ask for you to be mindful of what you can do for prevention and abuse in the community, in your neighborhoods, in your local area, and take time to reflect on that. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to welcome and thank Greenbrier Community Schools Choir for being here today to perform at Children's Memorial Flag Day.
favor of not singing. So, my name is Casey Carter. I'm here representing Davis Stewart Incorporated, and we're very pleased to be able to announce and introduce our speaker this afternoon. Vince Dietz was elected to the West Virginia State Senate in November of 2022. He has committed his life to law and order and public safety, first as a state trooper for 25 years and now in his position as state senator. He also serves as the chief investigator for the Greenbrier County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and for Greenbrier County Schools, he is the director of safety and security. His work over his career and up to this day gives him a unique experience and knowledge base of the challenges and the threats to the well-being of our children. Please welcome Vince Dietz.
Thank you all for being here today on such a special day. Wasn't that choir good? Let's give them another hand. That is very, very special. They did a fantastic job. Today, I'm here really to challenge all of us, myself included, with a moment as we reflect on a Memorial Day for our children. There's nothing more precious or more innocent than a child. And it's our society's responsibility, a moral society's responsibility to support our children. Because, you know, today we have a lot of choices. Today we had to make the decision even to come out today, you know, but our children oftentimes there's not a choice in the environment that they're born into. And so they have to live in that environment. And they have to try to deal with that environment. And oftentimes, and we wish and we pray that environment would be foster a healthy young adult. But oftentimes, unfortunately, it doesn't. And there's difficulties. And there's true difficulties that our young people face that are kept behind closed doors. And then our law enforcement community, our educators, the education system, and our CPS workers all come together and try to intervene. And that is so important. But I want you to know, and you may not work in law enforcement, you may not work in CPS, you may not work in that kind of environment, but I want you to know that you can make a big difference. Because I believe one individual can make a huge difference in each and every one in their field that they have. And you know, the great thing about West Virginia is, and the great thing about America is, that over 80% of us believe in miracles. And I believe that you can be a miracle for a child that is being abused. I believe that you can notice something and reach out and intervene in that way. And that is why it's so important that all of us be engaged, that we stay engaged and don't get weary and don't get frustrated, but be positive and engaged and realize that if you make a difference in one person's life, it could change that person for all eternity, for that matter. And that is why we are here today to memorialize this. And I want to challenge you. I want to leave you with this quote. This is a quote from Edward Hale. He during the Civil War, he was frustrated, you know, with all the difficulties that was going on during the Civil War. And he, you know, I believe, you know, we need to realize how important the individual is to our young people and to our society, for that matter. And he wrote this quote, and I want to share it with you. It says, "I am only one, but I am one. And I cannot do everything, but I can do something. What I can do, that I ought to do. And what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I shall do." So I want to leave you with that challenge, and I want you to know that you do make a difference. Everyone standing around here makes a difference to these young people. There's not a more innocent thing than a child. And it's up to us as adults to reach out and lift that young person up and protect them. And then allow them to grow into that wonderful adult and all the privileges that we have in our society to foster and become that great person that they have an opportunity to be. So thank you all very much. Appreciate you all.
Thank you, Vince. We appreciate you being here with us today. and those uplifting words. Each year we're able to honor community members whose dedication and selflessness are seen every day while working with children they serve. Today we're honored to give away 2 awards to 2 of our Greenbrier County community members who have made a lasting impact on children's lives. So first we'd like to invite Stephanie Williams from Davis Stewart to present our first award.
Good afternoon, I'm Stephanie Williams. I'm the Executive Director of Davis Stewart. It is my great honor and privilege to award the Certificate of Honor to Diane Lair. Diane has been a member of the Davis Stewart family for over 30 years. Throughout her tenure at Davis Stewart, Diane has been willing to take on any task with which she has been presented and has therefore served in a multitude of capacities at Davis Stewart. In her early years with the agency, she transitioned from a house parent to a teaching parent, then teaching parent to teaching assistant, then from teaching assistant to behavior management aide in 1999. During the 99-2000 school year, Diane was recognized by the West Virginia Department of Education for outstanding cooperation and teamwork in the management of student behavior and implementation of the treatment process. In 2002, Diane began serving as the school secretary of our on-ground school and was later promoted to Davis Stewart's purchasing agent in 2009. Most recently, Diane has served as our agency's executive assistant as well as the director of food services. She was instrumental in the completion of our dining hall in 2019. Currently, Diane has taken on the task of training her successor so that she may finally be able to fully retire this summer. No matter what role Diane has held at Davis Stewart, she always continued to develop relationships and support the youth in our program. Diane has been a true blessing to Davis Stewart, the children we serve, as well as the staff. May we all strive to emulate her dedication, but not only to Davis Stewart, but especially to the children that we serve.
Congratulations, Diane, and thank you for your dedication to our community. Next, we'd like to welcome Lindsay Jameson from the Children's Home Society to present our award.
So many people have impacted the youth we serve in shelter, but I cannot think of a better person than Nathan Sams to receive this honor for his efforts in aiding the child welfare of West Virginia's youth. Nathan first became familiar with the Greenbrier Valley Children's Home when the shelter was located in Lewisburg. Nathan understands that the children being placed in shelter needed much quicker attention than the average child. Nathan made himself available 24 hours a day to the needs of our children. We always knew he was a phone call away and ready to tackle any task brought to him. We also recognize Dr. Sam's efforts in prioritizing the needs of children, which often results in adding in last-minute appointments to her already busy schedule. Nathan has played a large role in advocating for the immediate medical attention of children entering care through shelter. When a child enters placement, they can go days without a medication they were routinely taking. This is no longer a factor for our youth, as Nathan spends countless time, often after hours, making sure every medical need is met timely. 24 hours a day, Nathan is available to every question or need we have regarding our youth. Every phone call ends with a "I'm happy to help." I can't think of a more deserving person to be recognized in all he has done and all he will continue to do in supporting some of West Virginia's most vulnerable youth. Thank you.
Congratulations, Nathan, and thank you for everything that you do for children in our community. So as we end today, obviously we want to thank these 2 community members, but if we have people in the audience today who work for some kind of a social service agency, a nonprofit, or help children in any way through your work, can you please raise your hand so we can appreciate you as well? Let's give them a big round of applause. I think most of the people here probably play that role in some way, shape, or form. So thank you for that and what you do every day. And as Vince said, we want to challenge you to continue to help children. It's a hard, hard job. It's a thankless job, and just keep up the good fight, because we need you, and we need to keep our children top priority and help serve them every day. So thank you all. We hope to see you again next year.